basically, what I do in these sessions is I give a short little intro talk, and then some sample games, and some longer meditations. So I sort of intersperse short little games with longer guided meditations, some of which I'll leave you, in silence to do on your own as we talk. But in between, I'll definitely have question and answer at the end. But in between the games and meditations, if you have any question, just raise your hand or unmute yourself or put something in the chat. Either way is okay with me. So also I like to prepare for these and like take notes. So I'm going to be like flipping back and forth to my Word document. So if you see the lighting change on my face, that's why. Some people like to just go with the flow and stuff, and I like to think, let's see, what game am I going to play today, and sort of make a little list and then pick and choose. So as far as the intro goes, I just want to talk about the three premises behind awareness games and meditations. They're based on a few premises, and the first one is that most of us look for happiness where it isn't instead of where it is. And where it isn't is outside of you, in things that you create, things that you get, things that you acquire, success that you achieve, relationships that you can have. We think that's where happiness is, out there, something we get and bring in. But it's not where it is. Where it is in the background of all your experience, which is awareness itself. It's that clear, open field in which all experience appears. And it choicelessly allows all experience to be like a clear mirror, which doesn't decide I'm going to reflect this and not reflect that. Awareness allows all to be, all that appears in it to be. And the second premise is that it's about a shift in identity. And you are this clear field of awareness. But when I say you, I don't mean your individual body or your individual mind. I mean that which knows your body and your mind. That hears the thoughts in your head. When the thoughts are going on and you're talking to yourself, who's listening? What or where do those thoughts appear? And this field doesn't have any qualities of its own, because all qualities are objects that can be known. And then you have to ask, well, known by what? And it's by pure awareness itself. So that's why the awareness that's looking out through your eyes is exactly the same as the awareness that's looking out everyone else's eyes. It has no qualities. It's pure. Any concept that you can put on it is an object that can be known, and therefore it couldn't be it. Any name that you could call it, any idea about it or description or quality that it could have, is just another object that can be known in awareness. And it's not awareness itself, which you really can't describe in words because it's not really a thing. And it's the same because it has no qualities. It's absolutely the same. So what's looking out through my eyes is what's looking out through everybody else's eyes. And the third premise is that you don't have to believe anything, including everything that I just said. You don't have to believe anything in order to know yourself as this pure, clear field of awareness. All you have to do is play around, and you can actually just use imagination. Like imagine, for instance, imagining that what's looking out through my eyes is in the background and it's connected to everyone else's, to that which looks out everyone else's eyes. You don't have to believe that. All you have to do is imagine it. And imagine, what if I were that universal mind looking out through all the individual minds? And so you play around with it in such a way that it shifts your attention from the content of awareness to awareness itself. And it's a little bit tricky for some people, so that's why you have to sort of play around with it. It's like, I think of it as an infinite well of joy. And this infinite well of joy and peace and happiness is there, but you're not exactly sure where it is. So you sort of have to play around and hope you fall in it. So those are really the three premises behind it all, which is looking for happiness where it isn't, and instead looking for happiness where it really is, which is the field of pure awareness, shifting that identity from the individual mind to that background that sees everything. And that is not about beliefs. It's about experience. You try it. You play with it. You play around like you would squeeze a little piece of clay. And maybe it sticks out this way and sticks out that way. You just play with it yourself, and you find what works for you, because you're the ultimate expert on you, on how it works for you. And so with those three premises, there's also another group of three that I like. And now we'll get into some games, because when I played around with this infinite well of joy, I found that there are three steps that work the best, that are the most useful. And I call them RA, which is RAA, which is relaxing, allowing, and awareing. And I use the word awareing because since awareness is not really a thing, a verb seems to be more useful than a noun. So here are three simple games that cover all these three steps of RA, relaxing, allowing, and awareing. So the first one I call Cut the Strings. So this is just a simple relaxation game, and it's cutting the puppet strings. It goes like this. Imagine that you're a marionette puppet. There are strings attached to all of your joints. And these strings are going up and they're taut. And they're holding you up in a kind of tense way. Now, just in your mind's eye, imagine one by one, just cutting each of these strings. Maybe there's one attached to your elbow. Snip, your elbow relaxes. Your other elbow, snip, cut that string and it relaxes. Cut that string that's holding your shoulders tense. And your head, your hips, your knees and ankles. And just on your own for a few minutes, see if there's any tension, and imagine just snipping that string that's holding it taut, and see if you can just sort of sink into your chair and relax more and more as each puppet string gets cut. And just do a final little scan of your body and see if there's any tension or clutching or holding. And just imagine a tight little string that's holding that, and just snip it and let the tension go. And then, as a simple allowing game, we're going to cut the puppeteer strings. So imagine there are strings attached to your fingers, and they're going out to the world and other people. And these strings are the way you control and manipulate your experience and manipulate other people in the world. And one by one, in your imagination, cut the strings, each finger. And all of your control of the world can release a little bit with each cut string. And don't worry about whether your life or the world would fall apart if you released your control over it. That's all future stuff. You can worry about that tomorrow. I'm only talking about right now, during this game. You only have to let go of control right now, during the game. You can always go back to controlling stuff later if you really feel like it. But if you practice cutting the strings of control just right now in this moment, and you allow your experience to be exactly as it is, just for the moment, then you'll find that the more you do it, just take a minute, 5 minutes. 5 minutes, I'm not going to control anything. I'm not going to try and change my experience. I'm not even going to try and quiet my thoughts or anything. Nothing. Just whatever happening right now. If you practice that enough, then it's a weird thing. It's mysterious. It sort of gradually softens your relationship with the world. And I don't know why, but things start to go more smoothly for some strange, mysterious reason. And then the third one is a simple awareing game. And so this is the third RAA, awareing. And I call it expanding out one level. So basically the idea is that you simply expand one level out from whatever is the current focus of your attention. And you look from that level. And you be that. So whatever happens to pop into your attention, my voice, look out the window, thought pops into your head, whatever it is, one by one, that right now is the focus of attention. Expand one level out, meaning the level that notices that thing. A thought, expand one level out. What notices that thought? My foot's asleep. Expand one level out. What notices my foot? And you can do this for any concept, any object of your attention, whether it's a thing, a feeling, a perception, concept, whatever. You just keep expanding one level out, no matter what happens to land in your field of attention. So you don't have to control what happens in your attention. Just whatever pops in, expand one level out. And then if that level happens to be the focus of your attention, expand one level more. What notices that? And one level more. So why don't you play around with that on your own just for a couple minutes. Whatever pops into your attention, just expand one level out to what notices it. And you don't have to change anything. You don't have to fix anything. You can apply it to any experience, any moment, and continue applying it over and over, moment by moment, until it becomes second nature. And it starts to happen by itself. And it starts to color all of your experience. You just sort of get in this little habit of noticing anything that pops into your attention, noticing what experience is that. What does that experience appear in? Rumi called it infinite rings of being. That's when you just expand, and then you notice that expansive space that you feel you are, which is, of course, a concept. So you expand to what notices that concept. And you just expand and expand and expand, one level at a time, just to the next level that's aware of whatever is in your field of awareness now. And that's what he meant, I think, when he said one of Rupert Spira's favorite quotes from Rumi. Probably get it wrong. Down and down and down in infinite rings of being. Or I like to think of it as out and out and out and out and out in infinite rings of being. Before I move on to some more games, anyone have any questions or comments or reactions? It's not required, just welcome if they pop in. I wanted to talk a little bit about doing nothing, because a lot of spiritual circles were told to stop thinking or to do nothing. And it's not because thinking and doing stuff are bad in themselves. After all, if all is one, then thinking and doing are part of the one. But it's because thinking and doing can veil awareness. They can just sort of like be a little filter. And so it tends to veil that sort of pure background of experience, which is by its nature, happiness and peace itself. So what happens when you uncover your natural state, which is always there, is that you notice that you had just simply put your attention elsewhere. I'm going to think about some stuff. Thinking is always past or future. It's never now. I need to fix some things. I need to do stuff. I need to accomplish stuff. It's never now. And that's good and useful if you want to catch a train. You're going to want to know what time to leave the house so you can plan. But emotionally, you don't have to be thinking all the time. So let's just see. Let's just try it. Let's just see if you can sit for a little while and do nothing. So that means letting go of any strategy to change anything whatsoever about your current experience. And doing nothing, it's kind of paradoxical because isn't doing nothing doing something, but because of our habits, it's not easy to do nothing. So we practice and we play with it. Okay, so let's try it for a few minutes. Let's see if we can just sit and do nothing. It's not easy because your mind wants to do something. But so just know you're going to fail. It's okay. Just notice it and try again. Thank you for your comments in the group chat, everybody. That's really lovely. I talked earlier about identity. And there's a famous book, you have all heard about it, one of the classics of spiritual literature, I Am That, by Nisargadatta Maharaj. And once I overheard a conversation, and it was during a break outside of a meeting, of a teacher who was a very hardcore non-dualist. In other words, very dogmatic about non-dual. Actually, I love this teacher. I think he's great. But sometimes people who attend are a little hardcore. And during the break, I overheard this one person say, you know, I don't think that book, I Am That, is really non-dual because it poses an I and a that, which is dual. And I didn't say anything at the time. I thought it was kind of funny, but I realized that this was a basic misunderstanding of the title, of Nisargadatta's title. And maybe it's just me, but I interpret it as there's I, which is myself, and there's that, which is not I, and they're one and the same. I am that. There's no difference, which means I and not I are one, that's pure non-duality. But it leaves a couple of problems for some people. So first, they're defining the I in a very particular and personal way. The I is usually their bodies or their individual minds or their personalities, egos, thoughts, etc. And the second is that the I, the real I, it can't be known by the mind. It can't be described by words and concepts. And so that makes it kind of tricky. So I like to remind people you can't see it, you can only be it. So I was thinking the other day, to help with all this, make up a game called I Am Not That. And it's not original. I don't pretend at all. This is an adaptation of our, you've heard of the age-old practice. I'm sure all of you have tried and done the neti practice, which means not this, not this. And it's based on the idea that anything you can think of to define yourself can be known. And if it's known, it can't be the ultimate knower. And therefore, it's not who you truly are. So the game just goes like this. Ask yourself, who am I? Or some people prefer, I actually like this one better. What is this me? So you take your pick. And any answer you come up with, you respond, I'm not that. So for example, you say, who am I? Or what's this me? You say, well, it's this body. Okay, who's aware of my body? Is it my body? I don't think so. It must be something else, so I am not that. Or, what is this me? Is it my mind? I'm not that. I am not that. And since what you really are can't be defined or described in words or concepts, we're not really right now going for what you are, we're going the roundabout way by removing what you're not in the hopes that what's left is what you are. So let's take a little time and just ask the question over and over, either who am I, or what is this me, or what experiences, or whichever question resonates with you. Come up with a different answer each time. And whatever answer you come up with, say, I'm not that. And because this is just a way of playing around, and because words are just so woefully inadequate, and this whole non-duality game is so filled with paradoxes, to say I am not that isn't even really true. Because if there's only one thing going on, which is universal awareness, nothing that you can ever experience does not appear in awareness. If there's only one thing going on, then you can't even say, I am not that. So you could, if you prefer, play simply, I am that. Look around, look out the window. Some plants out there. I'm those plants. Look at your computer screen. I'm that. I'm that computer screen. Look at the doors, your closet. I'm that closet. How about your imagination? You're even imagining the world outside. Cars, buildings, politicians. I'm that. So it's just a strange paradox, and we play with it. First, we say, well, I'm not that because I can't be my body, because what knows that I have a body? When I say my hand, who's the my that has a hand? And so we realize that anything we name cannot be what we are. And some people call that the inward facing path. And you can play around with that inward facing path. But then you can turn it around and do the outward facing path, which is you look at absolutely everything and imagine it's all awareness. Not only does it appear in awareness, and you don't have to believe this, you just have to imagine. What if we're actually made of awareness? Then that book and that tree and that computer is made of the same stuff that my thoughts and my body and my mind are made of. It's all just awareness. So you play around with that. I have a game that I sometimes play when I just sort of want to get that shift into feeling that it's just one awareness looking out through all of us. And it's just playing around with a metaphor of your fingers in your hand. So the game is this, you take two fingers in your hand and you run it across two different surfaces. Like imagine you're in a chair, you can run it across, let's say it has a chair with arms. You run your thumb across your leg and you run your forefinger along the arm of the chair. Or your computer and the desk. Your one finger along the surface of your computer and one along the desk. Right now I'm doing my thumb along my computer and my finger on the desk surface. And imagine how each finger is unaware of what the other feels. My index finger, it doesn't know my thumb is feeling the computer and vice versa. But I'm aware of both. So now step back to an imaginary bigger picture. Imagine you are one finger and another person, maybe another person you can see on this screen, or another person in the room with you, or in your imagination, is another finger. Is there a bigger you who's aware of both your thoughts and the other person's thoughts? I'm one finger. This brain is in this one finger. These thoughts are in this one finger. These emotions are in this one finger. These sensations are in this one finger. But something back and behind knows and is aware of these thoughts and this brain and this mind and this body all in this finger. And that larger, clear, empty, infinite field also is aware of what's in every other finger, meaning every other person, every other animal, every sensate being. And you don't have to believe it, you just have to imagine it and play with it. What if? And it doesn't mean that you're automatically going to be psychic, because my index finger doesn't know what's happening in my thumb. I don't know what's happening in Daniela's brain right now. But the eye, the big eye that knows what's happening in my brain, knows what's happening in Daniela's brain. But my individual might not know. That's because it's a one-way street. Most of the information is flowing back. But when we quiet down that big flow of information that we send through all of our thinking and fixing and doing, then the perfume of the larger awareness starts to waft back into our individual fingers and brains, and we start to feel that choiceless, clear joy and happiness. That's that field of awareness that's everything. And who knows, we might even find that we start to know things that we don't know how we know. I'm going to stop there because I don't want to turn it into a technique for psychic phenomena. It's really a technique to shift your attention to the background of awareness. Elif, sure, I'd love for you to share something. Want to unmute yourself?
Hi, hello.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Ila from Saudi Arabia. Sorry, my English is not that well, but I want uh, to share something happened to me today in the morning, and today I was thinking of someone that really hurt me, and I I gave many good things to him, but he was hurting me. So I was asking myself, what's wrong? Why he did that? Why? Many whys. And then someone inside me, or the awareness, answer. It's like he is stupid. So I said, "Who's that? Who's that?" answering me. It was like, oh my God. It was like wearing something. It was like I was the awareness, and then the this voice started to tell me that just calm down and do. It was like two of me talking together, and I was watching two of me talking together. So I was the third part. It was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And then I felt and then I felt that yes, that makes me notice that what if the things or how the things look at me, how the world look at me, and who's treating the other, me or the world is treating me, uh, how the sun look at me, what their thought about me. So that was really nice. I was staying like that for like half an hour. I was completely separated at my work, and everyone trying to call me. I was separated, and I couldn't even answer my phone. So that was nice, and I just wanted to share it.
Oh, thank you. That's lovely. Was that okay? I mean, did it feel good? I mean, did you
It
get in
was
trouble at
amazing.
work?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was like, oh my God, a separation moment.
Wow,
So that's really nice.
that's great. That's a wonderful story. Thank you. And but the thing that reminds me of,
Thank you.
I'm gonna like talk about this in an upcoming podcast is that when people hurt us and we are angry at them and stuff like that, the first thing we do is what you started doing is running the story through our brain and like, okay, why did this happen? Why did they do that? They shouldn't do that. What can I say back? And that sounds like that was what was happening at first, and then that part was sort of let go of because you started identifying with something bigger than that. Is that true?
Yes, exactly. That's what happened to me because I was like punishing myself, and myself was talking to me, just stop this. He's just stupid.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so one of the best things that we can do when that happens is to not feed the story about the anger or the upset or what somebody did wrong, and see if you can just experience it purely. Because emotions actually are they're chemical reactions sourcing through our body, and we can just experience them without the story around them. Just, okay, where do I feel this? What does it look like? What does it feel like? Is it a tingling? Is it a vibration? Is it a throbbing? Right now. No past, no future. Put the story about it aside. So I know it's not directly related. It's just that what you shared reminded me of that, and I thought it would be good to share that little tidbit.
No, that's really, really good to not go with the flow with the anger. So yeah, maybe if
Yeah,
I notice that, so I can stop myself.
yeah, yeah. Because anger is natural and it happens, and and there's actually three options with anger. We can repress it, stuff it down, or we can express it, and there's healthy and unhealthy ways. Unhealthy ways, you stupid idiot, and blame, or I feel angry now. That's a more healthy way, but it's still expressing it. But there's a third, which is to experience it directly without the story. And then you're not repressing it or expressing it. You're not trying to get rid of it. You're experiencing it right now in the present as if it were abstract, like dots flowing through your body. And then you can ask, who notices
Yeah, I'll do it. Thank you.
it? You're welcome.
Thank you.
I have a kind of a longer meditation now, which is just a guided meditation on identity shift, since we've been talking about that identity shift a lot today. And so unless, if there are other questions, feel free. And if not, I'll just go into this identity shift meditation. So it's about inquiring into your identity beyond your concepts of what you take yourself to be. And it starts with the undefined identity of a newborn child. I think we've done a short version of this, which is imagine you're just born in an earlier meetup. It starts with that newborn child and it expands into an exploration of who or what is noticing your experience. So first, well, get comfortable. Take a nice, easy, deep breath and relax. See if you can notice any holding or clutching or tension in your body, and just let it be as you breathe into it. And imagine that you were just born a little while ago. Imagine that you haven't learned any of the words or the concepts or the fears or the ideas about yourself and the world that you've accumulated up to now. Imagine that none of the images about who you are, about what the world is like, have formed yet. You know nothing about the world. You know nothing about yourself. Just born. Imagine looking out through your eyes as a newborn child with no name yet, no self-definition, No concept of a separation between you and everything else. It's just experiencing. It's all just one thing. It all just is. It's all just appearing in me. My experience is me. I am my experience. So you notice there's something, there's an eye that's looking out through your eyes. It's noticing your experience. That is your experience. Don't have a name for it yet, but it's what's looking. And now imagine that eye that's looking out continues to look out as you grow, you learn things. There's someone that can give me some milk. That someone has a name, Mama. Oh, there's other beings. Oh, if my eye feels funny, I can rub it with this thing at the end. I don't know what it is. And each new thing that you learn is appearing in that same eye that was there from the very beginning. It's that same clear background of awareness that I am. When I hear a word or see an image, it appears in that same clear background. But the background doesn't change with the word or the image. At 5 years old, it's the same clear background looking out through my eyes as when I was 1. 10 years old, it's the same clear, spacious awareness that you call I was looking out through your eyes when you were 5. 20, 30, 40, it's the same clear, spacious awareness that we call I that was looking out through our eyes ever since we were a little child. Now imagine you're the age you are right here, right now. Are you hearing sounds? Maybe air conditioner or birds or my voice. Who's noticing that sound? You might answer, I am, but who is this I? What is this me that notices? Are you noticing thoughts flowing through your mind? Who's noticing those thoughts? I am. Who is that I? What is this me that notices it? Who is that voice in your head talking to? Are you noticing sensations in your body? Who's noticing those sensations? I am. But who is that I? What is this me that notices? Do you have an image of your body? If you close your eyes, is there an image of your body in your mind? Who sees that image? Is it your body or something bigger? Who has a body? How about your personality? Do you have an idea of your personality? What it's like? Who's aware of that idea? Is it your personality or is it something bigger that contains your personality? Who or what has a personality? So ask, if I'm not my body or my thoughts or my personality, then who or what am I? And remember that innocent, pure, clear awareness looking out of your eyes when you were just born. And see if you can imagine, just for now, that who you are is that clear, empty, fresh, beautiful knowingness that includes your body, includes your thoughts and your experiences, but it's bigger and more spacious than your body or your mind or your personality. Let go of all the concepts about yourself. Let go of all the images of yourself. Let go of all the borders or edges of yourself. That borderless, infinite field is the universe looking at itself through your eyes. It's your true nature. You're not a concept because all concepts appear in you. You're not a self-definition because all self-definition appears in you. You're not your body because your body appears in you. Be that in which everything appears. Be awareness itself. I awareness. I am. I. Now, when you're ready, at your own pace, if your eyes are closed, you can slowly open them. Take another nice, easy, deep breath. I said this last time, but I just love Zoom calls because I love looking at all the different pictures of everybody all on one screen. And it's just so much fun. It's such a great metaphor because, I can rub my finger across the screen and it's all smooth and it's all one screen, but it's all got different pictures of a bunch of different people, but it's all the same. But you don't have to believe it. You just have to play with it. I said this 100 times because I'm not about dogma. I'm not about anything like that. I'm just about try it and play it. See if you can shift back. Does anybody have any questions, comments, anything they'd like to share or ask? That's cool. If not, try another. One of my favorite topics among many in this, or subtopics, is effort and effortlessness. And effortlessness is big in a lot of spiritual circles. But here there's a tiny bit of effort. It's trying to find the least amount of effort possible to keep focused on awareness itself. So if you put a lot of effort into it, you try really hard, then pure awareness just eludes you. No effort at all, and your mind starts to wander into daydreams or plans for the future or endless replays of past events. Too much effort and you're trying to control your experience. So you have to ask yourself, how much effort is just enough to keep my attention gently focused on awareness itself instead of on the content of awareness? And no more. It's the least amount of effort. And it does mean that you have to sort of keep going back and reminding yourself. And that's a little bit of effort, but it's not very much. See how little effort you can apply just to notice awareness. Or if you don't want to use the word awareness, just noticing. What's noticing my experience? Well, my friend Jonathan likes to ask a simple two-syllable question. In what? Meaning, in what does all this appear? So there's a little bit of effort, but there's some phenomenon that really, really are effortless. You're present. You don't have to exert any effort to be present. You exist. You're here, and that's the way it is. No effort required. And you're aware. Things appear in awareness effortlessly. Thoughts appear with no effort. Emotions appear with no effort. Sensations, perceptions appear with no effort. So the flip side of the effortlessness question is to play around by asking yourself, what is effortless? What appears without effort, and just allow them to happen effortlessly. So you ask yourself, well, what is effortless in my experience right now? Is hearing effortless? Is seeing effortless? Is feeling effortless? Is thinking effortless? Is awareness effortless? And that's the beauty part of awareness. It is effortless. It is effortlessness itself. And that's why so little effort is needed. For instance, let's say you wanted to allow. I want to allow things to be as they are, but I'm having a hard time allowing things to be as they are because I want them to be different. Well, is there something that's already allowing? Yes, awareness. Awareness allows whatever appears in it. So you don't have to do it. Just to notice that there's something within you that is you that's already allowing. I want to be happy. I want to make something happen. I want to do some effort to make myself happy. Is there something that's effortlessly happy? In other words, something that's so okay with whatever it is that it doesn't have a problem. It's not trying to manipulate experience. There's no adversarial relationship with experience. It just is. That's awareness. It's just yes, a big, giant, effortless yes, like a mirror, just appears. So you don't have to do something. You have to notice that there is something, which is not a thing, that doesn't have to do anything. That's already there. That's already allowing. That's already happy. That's already free. It's already spacious. It's already huge. And you just sort of take that little half step back notice it, and look out from there. That's the tiny effort of effortlessness. So pure being is effortless already, but you have to try a little bit in order to recognize it. You just have to, day by day, moment by moment, and all the things that happen in your life are just beautiful little reminders, especially if it's something you don't like. Ooh, there's a feeling I don't want. Ah, ding, reminder. Notice what's already okay with that feeling because it's just allowing it. Oh, somebody did something I didn't want them to do. Ding, reminder. Notice what's already okay with that person doing that thing because, like a mirror, it already allows it. And it doesn't mean you have to go around through life not doing anything. Certainly in our world, striving for social justice is something that we can do and we ought to do. But when you do it from a place of noticing what allows everything to be as it is, then you're doing it, you're acting from a place of love. And you're acting out of love and not out of control. And you find that your actions are more effective. So it's not like you have to go into a little cave. You just have to, little by little. Locke Kelly always said, small moments, many times a day. Or you can do longer meditations. But you do it often enough, and it just becomes so second nature that you can do like RAA, my 3 relaxing, allowing, awareing. You do them often enough. All you do is have to say the word Ra, and you're there. Ra, relax, allow, aware. Huh. Oh, wow. Yeah. And so you don't have to hope for some enlightened state in the future. You don't have to hope that you will purify yourself or develop yourself so that you can cross some imaginary boundary some point in the future and become an awakened being. All you have to do is moment to moment to moment to moment, notice what's noticing. And be that. How's everybody doing? Questions or comments or anything like that? Let's do one last one then. I think I might have talked about this a little earlier, but I love the concept of real reality versus virtual reality. And it's about direct experience. So what is direct experience? Direct experience is everything that is perceived in the current moment through the senses, and nothing that's remembered, imagined, conceptualized, or verbalized. As soon as you're remembering something from the past, you leave real reality and enter virtual reality. As soon as you imagine something that might happen or should happen in the future, you leave real reality and enter virtual reality. And as soon as you put words to something, you create a separation. This is this and that is not that, and you leave real reality and enter virtual reality. So virtual reality is daydreaming, fantasizing, mulling over, practically all automatic thinking. So here's the game that I'll leave you with. Notice direct experience. Right now, right here, right this. Notice everything about it. Notice it without labeling any of it with words. Notice the experience. Now, period, here, period, this. Direct experience. Unlabeled, unconceptualized, pure. And I'll just leave you with some flags to help you remember, to help you notice that you're in virtual reality instead of direct experience. One is that you're remembering a past event. Two is you're imagining the future. Three is you're thinking about the last thought you had. Four is you're ignoring your senses, physical senses, sensations. And the last one is you're trying to change your experience. If you're doing any of those, you're in virtual reality. Might as well have the headset on. And real reality is just simply my current direct experience now, right here, without labels, without story. And the reason I laugh is because story pops up anyway. And I just notice it. And do that one step backward, that expand out one level. And it's just so delicious. Because you don't have to worry about getting it right because the stuff comes up anyway. You just have to know that there's no problem. Awareness is there always so reliable. You just have to notice it and be it. So that's all I had on the agenda for this evening. I know some people had to drop off early. That's okay. How's everybody doing?
Doing really well. Just wanted to say thank you so much for hosting this. It's really wonderful.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. It's my pleasure. I'm so glad you could come and share with us.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks, Brian. This is just it's like one of the world's best kept secrets. So let's see what we can do about that.
Sure, sure. Oh, little by little, it spreads around.
It's
And
wonderful. It's
thank
absolutely
you so
wonderful. It's
much.
the greatest freedom. It's really the direct access to remembering who and what you really are,
Yeah,
which is that's it. It's best best place to hide things is right under us, right
right.
in us.
That's right. Hiding in plain sight.
Totally. So I love these, and
Everywhere. Yeah.
we'll do my best to share this. So I'm just thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Great talking to you. Thank you for joining. And if anyone ever has any questions or thoughts or anything, you can message me through Meetup or through the website at playawarenessgames.com. And, I love to hear from you, and I'll get back to you.
Brian, where will this replay be available so that we can share it with others?
What I think I'll do is I think I'll make a page on the website
Great.
and put the it's on the events page that lists each event, and I'll put a link to the or upload or something like that. I haven't figured out technically how I'm doing it yet because it'll be the first time, and then I can put something on Meetup announcing that it's there.
Great. So it'll be on your website. You'll somehow jimmy it up such that it's there. It could be a YouTube link. You could upload it to YouTube. You could upload, there are lots of ways.
If it's a video, that's what you do first, because on my website, which is Wix, they limit the amount of videos you can actually upload, but they don't limit the number of YouTube videos you can. So I'll probably upload it to YouTube and then stick it on the website. And so it'll be in two places.
I think that's okay.
Super.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Keep cool.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.